Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fawaz bin Fitri. I'm taking course history and I'm from Sumajaya, Selangor.
Okay, and my name is Muhammad Divano. I'm taking course political science and I'm from Inggeris. Thank you and enjoy our documentary.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away, I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. Once I ran to you, now I'll run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly.
Human beings are social animals. Our life depends on other humans. We develop and learn about the world around us through the filter of other people. Our connections to others are key to not only our survival, but also to our happiness and the success of our careers.
Publishing. And I just added this real-time aspect, an SMS aspect, and we said, what if, with just SMS on the web, I can go anywhere I want and report what I'm doing and then see what everyone else is doing in real time. Very, very simple start. And the users have taken it from there.
Watertown, Massachusetts, Mark Zuckerberg, creator of Harvard's thefacebook.com. Mark, if somebody was to put the question to you about the magnitude of what you think you've launched, how big do you think your product or your service is?
Well, it's impossible to tell. When we first launched, we were hoping for, maybe 400, 500 people. Harvard didn't have a Facebook, so that's the gap that we were trying to fill. And now we're at 100,000 people, so who knows where we're going next.
If a company has 1 billion customers, how can they not be killing it making money?
Well, I think it depends on your definition of killing it. I mean, we are making billions of dollars.
Warning about a new condition called Facebook depression.
But like most things in cyberspace, there is a downside. Facebook may even be dangerous to your health.
People are more isolated than ever before as social networks fail to replace human bonding.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. Today we are here, my friend, his name is
Brian, from FU, Faculty Undang-Undang, first year.
And I'm gonna interview him about the social media. What is the usage and implication of social media on teenagers? Okay, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, is social media good or bad for students?
Well, there's good and bad social media. So the first thing I'll talk about the good of social media to students, whereby we get to interact with people, using Instagram, Facebook to connect with people. So in that sense, it is good for social media for students, and we also get to surf the net about, let's say if I'm studying law and you are studying history, so using social media we get to learn about this type of things in social media. So in that sense, social media is good. Whereas if you look at the bad side of social media, whereby we get too caught up, means in a sense that we are always on our phones, always on social media, that we don't spend time studying, and then we enter into websites which are not appropriate for students. So these are the bad sides, and this will lead to a lot of also negative things for students. So that's why I said social media is also good, and that's also bad for students.
Yes. So that's your answer, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
So how does social media affect your life?
So social media actually affects. That's why I said it can go both ways. So I'll take it more in a positive way. So first things first, we get to communicate with our friends, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
So this actually how to say, we get closer to our friends. So this will have a good bond between a friend from overseas and all that. And then the next thing is that the positive side is that we get to learn a lot of new things like culture. You know, we go and surf the net. There's a lot of things that we can see. You know, like when people go for holidays and all that, we can see like they take pictures of different places. So it actually equips our mind about new places. And then also for our studies, social media is very good, where we can have online discussions with our friends and also teachers, so that we don't have to meet in classes. So social media helps us to do well and perform well in our studies also.
Okay, Brian. How do you see social media? Is it useful or not?
In my perspective, social media is very, very useful, because in a sense that social media can be used at a very wide range. We can use it to communicate with people, we can use it for our studies, we can use it to get the latest information. Let's say if you're interested in sports, then you can use social media to read up about the latest news about sports. And let's say for the latest general election, 14, we use social media. Social media is a very useful platform to know the results. So that's why I say social media is good in this perspective. And also for our studies, if we want to get, especially for me as a law student, I get my cases referred sources from social media, you know. So in some sense, it's very good. Social media is very useful for us.
Okay, Brian. Yeah, thank you. So for you, I think if you quit social media, how does it affect your life? Is it positive or negative?
It will be more on the negative side for me, in the sense that I can't. If you cut off social media, let's say we cut off Facebook, we cut off Instagram, Google, or you know, whatever, we won't really get to see the world outside. We won't really get exposed to what's happening outside, in the sense that, let's say, like I'll use back the same example, like the GE 14, general election 14. We won't, if let's say there's no social media, we won't even know who will win. So we won't even get exposed to the latest news and all that. And let's say for sports also, we won't even know what's happening. Like any transfers that happen, you know, in football we have transfer seasons, we won't even know what's happening. So that's why I said social media is very important. And if you cut off social media from our lives, especially in the 21st century where social media is very important, then it's going to be a very big problem for everybody. And as like the pepatah Melayu will say, kata di bawah tempurung, so we won't even know anything that's going on. So that's why I don't agree when we cut off social media, and it's going to be very impactful in a negative way.
Okay, so for the last question, what content do you feel gets more attention in social media, positive or negative for you?
What content gets more attention? For if we divide it according to the gender, for like say male, we prefer sports. Let's say we prefer sports or politics. So for guys like us and our age, 21 and above, we are very interested in sports. So the one of the most important or one most popular content or genre is sports for us. So that's why that will get very good support from us when we often check it out and all that. Whereas for girls, maybe they are more interested in things like makeup, in things about beauty, fashion. So for them, it will be a different type of content, and that will be more popular, like, you know, beauty and all that. So that's why we have to look at the different perspective, whereby if a guy, I would like sports, and if a girl, maybe she likes beauty or something like that. So those are the few things that are more popular nowadays in our generation. Yes.
Alright, that's all for our interview with Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pawas.
Yes, thank you. Alright. after we interview with Brian, and then we're gonna interview Shafiq. Alright, Shafiq, let's start it. Is social media good or bad for students?
I think social media is a little bit of both. It's not too good or too bad. It's good and bad for students. Yeah.
So secondly, how does social media affect your life? Is it positive or negative?
I think it's also both for me because it affects me in a way that it's good because I get my source of news and I can connect with my friends. And it's also bad because I get the wrong infos because there are sources that are not reliable. And I think it's sort of both positive and negative for me.
I see. So you choose both positive and negative. So how do you see social media? Is it useful or not?
For me, I think social media is very useful because nowadays I think it's very important to connect with people and read the news. And now people don't really read newspapers. People usually just go on websites or go to social media mostly to get information. I think it brings more good than harms.
So if you quit social media, is it affect your life? I think it's negative, right?
Yeah, mostly negative because what social media has done to us is that it connects humans and it brings people together. Even though in certain cases there would be problems where people would have dramas between them, they would fight over something or on social media. I think at the end of the day, social media brings a lot of good rather than harms.
See. So what content do you feel gets more attention in social media? Is it positive or negative?
I think the content that gets the most attention in social media is entertainment. So for example, entertainment comprises of celebrity gossips or sports and all that. I think it gets more attention and people prefer to talk about that on social media rather than talk about really serious issues. For example, mental health issues. You don't see people talk about that very often on social media because at the end of the day, people prefer to talk about something that's not stressful to talk about. So I think we should put more attention on topics that are serious to talk about so we can overcome the problems that we have now.
Alright, Shafiq, thank you for our interview today. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Abdiano and my friend is Samim. So I'm going to interview him, and Samim, I have a 5 questions. So, and are you ready for the questions?
Yes, I'm ready.
The first question is social media good or bad for a student?
I mean, whether it's good or bad depends on how the student uses it. Well, for me, it's good now. The social media is good for me.
Okay, and the second question is how does social media affect your life?
Social media affects me in the way that I receive information regarding the social issues in Malaysia, especially, and even in other countries outside of Malaysia.
Okay, and the third question is what are the positive and negatives of using social media?
Now, the positive effects of social media is, like I said just now, you can gain more information about Malaysia, irrespective of anywhere you are. And then for the negative side is that basically when you're using social media, you can waste your time, use too much time on that, and not be more productive than you are supposed to be. Yes.
Okay, and the fourth question is how will quitting social media affect my life, positively or negatively?
So in quitting social media, I think it will affect me positively because I think I can be more productive than I currently am. And regarding the information in Malaysia and everything, I can just buy newspapers. So I think it will affect me positively.
Okay, and the last question is, and the fifth question, what content do you feel gets more attention in social media, positive or negative?
think it's more positive.
More positive.
Yeah, more positive.
Okay, that's all this question.
Influence, positive and negative influence of media on teenagers. It is fashionable to blame the media for everything that ails society today. Media today has a huge influence on teenagers. Be it television, computers, video games, social networking sites, it hugely impacts all aspects of a teen's life. But all is not bad with the media. If used right, media can change life for good. Positive media influence on teen. 1. Help develop awareness. Most teens live a sheltered life, but with exposure to various media outlets, they can develop awareness about society and the world. This cultural and political awareness is vital if we want to groom a generation of socially responsible citizens. With news channels, magazines, social networking sites blaring about world happening, teens can realize that there is more to the world than just what is happening in the hood. 2. Help develop social skills. Many teens are socially awkward. Media give them the chance to groom their social skills. It also gives them the chance to expand their social circle and develop new friendships. Other benefits include social confidence, heightened literacy in the media, and more social support. Social media diversifies your teen's social skills, which in turn helps him navigate successfully through modern society. 3. Inspire them. When your teen watches an action flick, don't just despair about the violence. With a little guidance, they can use movie as inspiration for help fine-tune motor skills. Video games draw a lot of flack these days, but there's some good in video games too. There are a few video games that can help teens develop and fine-tune their motor skills and coordination. 5. Help develop reading and writing skills. When a celebrity talks over a favorite book, your teenager might be tempted to grab a book too. Not just that, if your teenager wants to be a part of blogs, chats will need to improve her reading and writing skills.
Negative media influence on teenagers. We seem to be drowning in information, but for teenagers, this information overload can be the cause for serious concern. 1. Distorted body image. The world is full of perfect people today. With perfect skin, body and hair, that's what it appears like to the young today. And these images are everywhere. This has led to distorted body image among a number of teenagers. Anorexia and bulimia are a fallout of this body image crisis. And it is not limited just to the girls.
2. Making violence normal. The amount of violence in video games and movies today is scary. Then teenagers spend several hours every day watching these scenes of gore. Violence becomes their reality, and many teenagers are unable to distinguish between reality and fantasy. This makes violence normal for them.
Number 3. Risky sexual behavior. Teenagers are just discovering their sexuality. It is very normal for them to be interested in everything sexual, but the amount of sex in media today can make a teenager confused. Sex without responsibility, that seems to be the message being beamed at teenagers. This can lead to irresponsible sexual behavior and unwanted pregnancies.
Number 4. Obesity.
Chances are your teen today spends most of her time in front of the TV or computer. Playing outside has become a rarity. Add to that bad eating habits, and you have an obesity epidemic at hand.
Number 5. Score low in school.
Teens who watch too much television have lower scores in exams. Also, such teens are not good readers as they spend more time in front of the television. A study reveals that individuals with high degree scores watch less television in their childhood and teenage.